Yemeni mother who was unable to visit her dying toddler in an American hospital has arrived in the US after Washington relaxed its travel ban for her. Shaima Shwile touched down in San Francisco just hours ago. She has been waiting a year to visit her 2-year-old son. That son, Abdullah, is on life support with a terminal brain disease in a hospital nearby. Well, earlier I spoke to one of the attorneys who's worked with the family on their case, Saad Swilem, for the Council on American Islamic Relations, and he's from the North Californian chapter. I started by asking him about the welfare of the family.
We're actually at the hospital right now. She's here with Abdullah. She's had an opportunity to be with him. She's with him now. It's obviously very difficult for her, but for us, this was all about giving them the opportunity to mourn with dignity, and get some closure with her son, and she's able to get that, thankfully.
It must be a day of mixed emotions for you. Obviously, there's the joy at the fact that mother and son have been reunited, but also the distress at the fact that it's taken so long.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's taken much too long. They've made over 28 attempts to contact the embassy to let them know how difficult the situation was, and it took them. They've been waiting since January 2018 for a waiver, and since 2017 for a visa. So yes, it's taken much too long.
And of course, all of this is because the family are Yemeni, and this is that's one of the countries that falls under Trump's so-called Muslim travel ban. Are you concerned that that travel ban is essentially slapping a blanket rule on what ought to be considered case by case?
Absolutely. I mean, in this case, we have a father who's a United States citizen. We have a son who's a United States citizen. And if a case like this was not going to be granted a waiver to such a ban, then you really have to ask yourself, is that waiver process even legitimate? I mean, it's clear that if this type of case took this long after so much media pressure, after a lawsuit and a campaign to get her this waiver, you really have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this ban?
Well, we have one case here, and as you said, the media attention that this case has garnered. Do you think that might help others to try to push their own waivers through the system?
I certainly hope so. I hope after this, people will realize that, family separation is a real consequence of this ban, and hopefully those families who are going through a lot of the same things will have a much better opportunity going forward to have a waiver after the government really, they have to be embarrassed after seeing what happened in this case.
Do you think there's a problem in the US with the way that Muslim communities are seen and treated?
Unfortunately, there's a problem with a lot of ways. Many minority communities in the United States are being treated, and that comes to the top with the President of the United States with his hateful rhetoric. We see it trickle down to the rest of the country, and it leads to we've seen increases in hate incidents all across the lines, whether it's against the Muslim community, the Jewish community, the Black community, the Latino community. So no question.